Now, the next thing, the practical way that we win at work and that we maximize the potential of our labor is that we win at work by respecting our leaders. So no matter where you work or what you do, you have to be subject to authority. That's just the way God made the world to work. And so if you're in the workplace, then you're subject to the authority of your boss. If you're a student, then your authority, your boss, I guess, is your teacher or the school administration. If you're a work-at-home mom and you're raising a family and making a home, then you're subject to the authority of your husband. And if you are the boss, then there's still authority in your life. You're subject to, say, the government. And so to understand how to respect our leaders, no matter what your place is in life, in the workplace, to understand how to respect our leaders, we take a look at Ephesians chapter 6. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Try to please them all the time, not just when they're watching you. As slaves of Christ, do the will of God with all your heart. Work with enthusiasm, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Now, obviously, the economy of labor was different back then than it is today. When he talks about slaves and masters, I know some of you feel like slaves wherever you work, but there's no real slavery today. But he's talking about anybody who works for or works under the authority of someone else. And he says, then obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. When he says that, he's not talking about physical fear. It's not like you're going to be beaten or whipped if you don't obey your boss. But he's talking about, it's an idiom that reflects this deference and respect for someone. And so we're going to treat those in authority over us, our leaders, with deference, with respect. And there's two practical ways that he talks about how we do that. First of all is by working with integrity. And he says, see, you work just as hard when nobody's around as you do when your boss is looking over your shoulder. That's an expression of integrity. That you don't have to have somebody watching you to work hard at what you do. Now, I know in the working place, you're all aware of people who work really hard at not working. There's always people who are trying to figure out ways to get out of doing work while they're being paid. And I had an experience of that when I was a yard boy in a masonry yard. I was lifting and carrying blocks and bricks for people. There was 3 or 4 guys who would make it their purpose all day long to figure out ways to not be available. They'd hide out in the shed where we stored the cement. They'd go in the back, far distance of the yard, far from where anybody was, where pallets were stacked. They'd just hide out all day long. And y'all, I know people like that. But he's saying that to really truly show respect to our leaders, we work with integrity, whether somebody's watching us or not. And then the second thing he says is that we work wholeheartedly, that we work with enthusiasm, that we really put ourselves into it and work, as I said, hard, but also with passion for what we do. Now, the reason that we do that is because we understand that ultimately our real boss is Jesus. That Jesus is the one that we're serving. And if we're really working for him and he's really our leader in the workplace or in the home or in school, if we're really working for him, then that's expressed in how we treat the people that we work for, the earthly people that we work for. And so we win at work by respecting our leaders.